Oh, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Today we are working on rendering 3D graphics in the terminal. I think it would be funny to write a Wayland compositor that basically just runs inside a terminal emulator. And the idea would be that we could like open Firefox in like the terminal, really shittily rendered, like right here, and like go and like watch YouTube or something in like ASCII. I think that'd be kind of funny. And so we're using this as kind of like a stepping stone to get here, get there. The idea is that like we have this like OpenGL 3D rendered cube, right? We see him, he's spinning. He's got, it's a little bit of interesting. He's got some color, he's got some lighting, he's got some movement, right? And I want to see if we can like render this, um, like just in the terminal. And then once we kind of figure out like how to do that, then writing like the Wayland compositor is just the part of like actual Wayland stuff, right? Because we know from previous experimentation with writing Wayland client that the way that like the your application talks to like the window manager, right? The way that he does that is he like basically takes a GPU buffer and he slaps it into a file descriptor and he sends it over some socket. So we know that we're going to have to take some sort of GPU buffer and display it in the terminal somehow. And so this is kind of like our stepping stone to do that. So plan of action is to like play with end curses. I think that's what people use for this type of shit. So I don't really know. I've never done anything in end curses, so I'd like to experiment with that a little bit. Then we're gonna have to set up some sort of like surfaceless OpenGL context, i.e., like when we're rendering this cube, we're not rendering it in a window, we're rendering it somewhere else that is going to be like dispatch that we can like then send to this window or to like our terminal output. Then we're gonna have to like get the content of this in some way that's like accessible from the CPU, and then render in a terminal. I guess probably somewhere here we might want to do like ASCII generation on GPU. Seems like something that we might want to do, but uh, we'll come back to that if we need to. Okay, cool. Let's just get moving. Let's get moving. All right, so we are 2 minutes and 20 seconds into stream. I think it's a little off screen. Okay, and I guess we need to do something with end curses. So we probably need end curses in our environment. End curses. By rendering in the terminal, do you mean that you're asking rendering or full 3D graphics? Asking rendering or full 3D graphics like that? What's the difference? I'm like both. Both. I want to ASCII render the full 3D graphics. But I maybe don't understand your question. Okay. So I guess we have all of this like window initialization code. So I guess this probably just kind of ends up in like some sort of like window abstraction. I would like to keep the ability to like do what like use the full on actual 3D thing. So I think that what we're gonna do is we're gonna make like a window abstraction, and we'll call this like GLFW window. And this guy will kind of do this, and I guess we kind of just do all of the OpenGL initialization stuff here. Maybe this doesn't even need to be, this doesn't really need to return anything, I don't think. This can just be like glfw init, because we're not actually like using the window anywhere, I don't think. He does return the window, never mind, I'm a liar. So, and what is the type of this thing? This thing is a glfw window, okay. So this is kind of like this, and then we just return window equals window. Not really sure, but could Sixels be used for rendering here? Definitely. Definitely we could use Sixel. Definitely we could use Kitty. But I'm not really sure if I want to. I know that they both have like poor support, so it's possible that we want to do like sorry, I'm trying to like think and talk at the same time, which is hard. This is greater than 0 or not equal to 0. Yeah, I think that like we should probably have a fallback on ASCII rendering at least. And I also think it's funnier if it's ASCII. So it's kind of like one of those like we might want to be shittier for entertainment value, you know? you know, this thing can fail. Okay, and then we have this guy. And then we have GLFW swap buffers down here. So this should be like window swap. Okay. So swap takes self like this and does this. Okay. So now it should be easier to like swap this out for our shit. This would be var, I guess, and then this is window swap. Okay. Just make sure that this still like does what I want. It does not. Was it caps? I don't remember. What the fuck was it? GLFW window. Jeez. GLFW uppercase window lowercase? That's crazy. Okay, and then I guess technically this could be a null pointer, but we know that it's not, so we can dereference that here. And then shader compilation now fails. Why? Because this has to be literally the first thing that we do. Our opengl context needs to be available. Okay, cool. So now everything's back to working. And we should be able to then basically replace this with like some sort of end curses window in it. So do we do this at runtime? Compile time? Compile time seems fine for now. So we have end curses window. And I guess the first thing that we want to do... let's actually stub out this existing main for now. And just have like a playground. I think that's probably easier. Because I don't really know... We're going to have to do some work to get like this OpenGL stuff to work under the end curses window. And I don't want to do that yet. I want to start by just like blanking the screen. So it's probably like curses.h or something. I don't really know. I have like an example that I pulled up yesterday. So maybe I just look at that. What the fuck do these guys do? Nope, that's not the thing I tried to copy. Paste? There we go. End curses programming. How to. Colors. The basics. The basics. So what are they doing here? This is their example. They init screen. They check if we have colors. Start color. Who knows what any of these do? Can I look this up? Hell yeah. Okay. Start color. Curses supports color tracking on terminals. Curses supports color attributes on terminals with that capability. To use these routines, start color must be called, usually right after init screen. Colors are always used in pairs. A color pair consists of a foreground color and a background color. Sure. A program initializes a color pair with the routine init pair. After it has been initialized, you can use color pair n to convert to a video attribute. Okay. Sure. I guess that makes sense. So we use end curses and we go end curses init scr, which gives us a window, but they just kind of discard that shit, which is kind of crazy. I guess we can't in Zig. They're gonna get mad at us, so. And then they check if we have colors. So if end curses has colors, if it does not have colors, we go return error, no colors. Okay, cool. Then start color. They said just fucking run that shit after init scr. If you say so. If you say so. And he probably, it looks like he returned something. So what does it talk about return anywhere? Return value. Routines, these return true or false. All of these guys return integer error upon failure and okay. An integer value other than error upon successful completion. What is error? Dude, are you kidding me? What does that mean? Is error something from like the end curses header? I was missing the intro. Any reason you're not using libvaxis? I don't even know what that is. I just know that like I've just heard the word curses before. Is really the extent of it. Oh, I see. It's literally like a define in here. So that's the extent of it. It's possible that we'll find out that this is a bad idea later. I just like have heard. It's just people say use curses. I know that like from my time in terminal emulator writing land that like control sequences are like something that you can't rely on being the same between emulators. And so I know that like curses is the guy who owns the knowledge of the control characters. And so that's kind of why I ended up here. But yeah, who knows? Curses is a curse though, and a link to live access. I'm not gonna like look into that right now. But I might later. I might later. Okay. So this guy returns something, and we say if this is equal to n curses then we have a problem. Return error, color in it. Okay. Then they say here is a pair, and you provide the color index for this thing as well as its foreground and background. So in this, I guess if we're going to like, this is foreground background. So if we wanted to paint the screen red, we would maybe write the full screen width and height. Probably. Yeah. Atter on. What does that do? Curses atter. Okay. Atter on. These functions were introduced in System V, but what does it like mean? Can manipulate attributes other than these. So this is just saying like set some oh, I see. So like for all of the text that we're gonna write it with these attributes applied. So their print in middle is literally just like I'm gonna write a string, and the string has the attributes that you set. So these are like stateful. All right, seems reasonable. So how do they calculate like the size of the screen here? They have lines. What is this? Lines. Dude. Bro. What the fuck? So this like looks like it probably calls some sort of fucking function, but you're like using it like a macro? What the fuck? Why would you want that? Jeez. Okay, I mean, okay. I'm in the wrong folder. Maybe? No, I'm not. Okay. So does this even like make it into Zig? Oh, he thinks it's an int, which is even more confusing. Maybe I was wrong about what that's doing. It looked like it was doing some sort of like wacky function call shit. But I guess it's only if reentrant. Otherwise, we're just exporting an integer. In which case, how can this be correct? Because the terminal will resize. So surely this is not correct. But I guess we'll kind of start somewhere and work our way forwards. So I guess we will just start by, making a color pair. So, init pair, my bad. So this takes in the index that we want, and then can we just do what they did? Okay. Then they call atter on with n curses color pair 1 as well, and that's it. then we can just like print some stuff. So they do some shit, but we can just do move w print This is probably the interesting part. So what do these guys do? They are analogous to printf, but they go through, the system. I assume if looking at the signatures here, print is just like print it where you are. Window print is printed to this window. Move print w is probably move to this location and print. Move print window print here is like do the move but with the print. Okay, and then VW has like takes in an args VA list instead. Does Zig allow us to call variadic functions like this, or is he gonna get mad? If he gets mad, this is gonna be a little annoying. Hello world. Let's just see what happens if we do this. Cint ignored. Okay, so we'll come back to this, I guess. And this. And this. These are probably all errors, I guess. Would be my assumption. We need to link end curses probably. Probably. And then maybe it's end curses. Maybe. All right, cool. And that just like fucked up my terminal and didn't do anything reasonable. That's cool. Love to see that. That's hype. Oh, I have to call refresh here. And then again, this can fail. Okay, so now we got something, but it looks like exiting this shit. Oh, end win. Probably we need to like reasonably get out of this shit. I would assume. Okay, and then it looks like they kind of waited for us to type something so that we could see it still. Right, so we see hello world, I press something, it goes away. Okay, that makes sense. You can see how every single fucking application gets, like, why I have to type reset in my terminal so much, because this shit just, like, does not clean himself up well. Jeez Louise. Okay, and then presumably all of these return values are going to return error. So we probably want, like, check end curses with some, like, val, like, ret, cint, and he's going to return void. And we're going to say, like, if ret equals end curses error, return error end curses. Simple. Then we can kind of check all of these for, like, check end curses. Jesus, I fucking hate how that autocomplete happens, where it, like, is like, oh, you already have the stuff typed. Okay, so we're gonna go record a macro, delete word, check end curses, search for this guy, replace, and then go down and go again. All right. Unused local constant, sure. And then on all of these, we have to write try. True. All right. Cool. We got somewhere. So this is how you render colors. If we want to blank the whole screen, I would assume that we want to, like, print lines. So we saw we have, like, these printf style functions. I also saw somewhere that there's, like, character printing functions when I was, like, looking around earlier. So there's kind of these that lets you, like, write a specific character. So you could just, like, spam space. And I believe from what I was reading before, that I believe that, hold on, my brain. Uh, I believe that like ncurses has like an internal buffer. So I believe that like it doesn't actually write anything out. I think that like ncurses is like React. Right? You know how like when React came out like fucking like 15 years ago, they were like Shadow DOM, Shadow DOM, Shadow DOM, and they were like very excited because they were like you can like you can make changes, but the changes won't render immediately. So it goes fast, vroom, 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 right? I think like that's what ncurses is doing. Is like they have like a buffer and like you apply all of your updates to the buffer, and then when you call refresh, it like checks which parts of the frame have changed and only writes those out and like figures out like how to navigate the cursor in a way that it's not rewriting like the world, I believe. um so I think that we can probably just like rip the whole window and write out character by character the whole window, and I believe that it wouldn't be that expensive. I don't really know though. So if we want to like blank the screen red, and we just want to go like 0 to ncurses lines, this is y. Can we go like, then we go calls, and then we do like move add character, which is like give me yx. I guess we could only do move add for the first one. Right, we kind of do this. And then we can call like add ch here. Right? And let's see what happens if we do that. Fine, we'll fucking incast, you little bitch. Surely we're supposed to like respond to the size of the terminal though. That seems like extremely likely to me. This is annoying. Check and curses. God, that's annoying. Okay, so now we have an error ncurses. You are right, whoever said that I should put a defer on that cleanup. Because, like, holy fuck, that's annoying. So we'll do this. Oh, God. And so this is on add ch at 293. Interesting. So what if we just don't do that? So we get like a red line down the side. Is it because it's like out of range? Okay. So, oh, I guess it's probably, oh, that's not good. So resizing just like fucked our shit up. Oh, because this is not, this is, we need a while loop here. We need a while loop. Okay. So I guess those are like integer values that are like updated by ncurses on the fly. You can see it like doing that. So that's kind of interesting. I don't really understand why I can't write into the rightmost column, but I guess it is what it is. X, Y index start at 1 in term. Oh. So you're saying that here I should be actually doing 1 here? I mean, this seems to be doing what I expect. So maybe not. But who knows? Who knows? Okay, so we successfully blanked the screen. That's exciting. I would love to be able to kind of like use color codes in some way. I would like to be able to like check that that works. So can we do like more advanced coloring? More advanced colors. So like what are my options here? Like can I like end curses with like a 16-bit palette? 256 color? I know that exists. How do I use more than 8 colors in end curses? Shut the fuck up. Uh you should be able to blah 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 init color. So how do I actually like fucking use it though? Color pairs. Init color. Ah, what the fuck? Ah. So if we go like, you know, 15, 15, 15, we should get something that's like relatively dark, but not like fully dark. He doesn't like that though. Probably because I'm in Tmux. Tmux is probably fucking with me here. I bet you that Tmux is not supporting 256 color or something. I probably have like the wrong term environment variable set or something. Because I think Tmux should. But it's okay. Yeah. Okay, so that looks like it's working. Can we do something that's like, we have this HSV to RGB thing. Can we do that in a loop? So we can say like, last is stood time instant now. And we can say const now is stood time instant now as well. And then we can say, when I init color, can I replace an existing color? Dude, also these fucking assholes. Look at these assholes taking the fucking global function names init color. That's crazy. What is wrong with these people? Like, am I legally allowed to just like replace? If a terminal color is capable of redefining colors, it can use init color to change the definition of a color. Sure. So we need also we need like and or we cannot change the color. Okay, so now we know that we can change it. We can just go in here and we can grab the RGB from here. So we can say like, now since last, this is the delta in nanoseconds. So we'll do delta as an F32 is equal to this, and then do delta divide equals nanoseconds per second. And can we just like take hue delta times like we had it in our rotating cube. What do we do here? We did this. And then we probably stored hue out here. And then we should be able to be like hue to RGB. And we just use RGB0, RGB1, RGB2. Which I assume are in units of 0 to 255. They are not. These go 0 to 1, it looks like. So we need to do like int from float. Okay, hold on. We're gonna get crazy. Int from float, 255 times this. All right. And then these guys need, oh, 0, 1, 2, we're chilling. He's mad because this needs to be float from int here. And no colors. So he actually does not have can change color, but what about if I do it here? Now he's chilling, but it looks like he's not actually chilling. Because probably we need to reset the attribute here every time, would be my guess. Every frame we have to reset to the latest. Error, no colors, because again, I can't do it in that terminal. This is not working. This is not working at all. So like, what the fuck? Okay, what if we try to get a little bit less crazy? Hue 0, 0. Let's just start here. And let's just kind of make it so that, you know, every once in a while, maybe once per second, we end up at 255. And we mod this by 255. And then we take this guy, and we can say int from float of hue. Oopsies. God damn it. God damn it. Again, again, again. Alright, we'll just run it. Fuck it. Still nothing. Is it that it's like, are my values wrong? Is it actually like that it's 256? Like, I'm supposed to do more colors? Like, is it that this needs to be like 65535? I saw short in there. What is my like short max? What is like init color? C short. Is short like 116 minus 1 or something? Oh, because it's not unsigned. It's not unsigned. Okay, so that should be maximum red. God damn it. Which he doesn't like. So then what does he want? Range is 0 to 6 per color for 256 color. Oh, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. The number of the colors changed followed by 3 RGB values. First argument is legal color valued. Default colors are not allowed here. Each of the last 3 arguments must be a value in the range 0 through 1,000? 1,000? Who would ever have guessed that? That's crazy. Yeah, I'm tired of doing this like zig build in different terminal. Still not red though. Still not fucking red. Am I fucking high? What the fuck? Wait. This is the foreground color. What about the background color? That's the problem, is that we're looking at the fucking... What, right? When we made color pairs? Oh, this is going into a color. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. I think this makes sense. So init color is creating colors, but we still need to use color pairs for our thing. So we need a legal color value. See section colors. There is no section colors. Bro, what are you fucking talking? I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh, maybe we use capital colors? I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. What do you fucking mean C-section colors? Man, colors. No fucking way, right? That's crazy. After initializing colors, this variable also contains the number of colors which the terminal can support. Okay. So then how do I make sure that I don't conflict with like color black, color red? Right? This is like 0 to 7. So there must be somewhere where we get like the numbers I'm allowed to use, right? Right? Because this is just going to tell us how many we support. But how do I like make my own that doesn't conflict. Man init color. Color num foreground background. It takes 4 arguments. The number of the color to be changed, followed by the 3 RGB values. Oh, I guess that I can just like replace whatever index I want. Yeah, okay. So it's like, fuck it. Color red, get fucked. Get fucked. Color red is now this color. And so then we say that like if we're just trying to like blank the screen one color, we have to set up our color pair still. Color pair, init pair, and we say 1 is now 1 and 1. So we've redefined color number 1 to be maximum red, and then we're like, use that everywhere. I think that makes sense. No colors. Because I'm in the wrong fucking terminal again. Okay, there we go. Maximum red, baby. Let's go. Okay, so now we can use our RGB. So I guess that was like this. So it's actually kind of lucky for us that we were using normalized RGB instead of 255, because now we just multiply by 1,000 because like of fucking course. So we have RGB is hue to RGB of hue, and then we have RGB 0, 1 and 2, and then we do our like int from float 1,000 times this. Oh, I forgot again. I'll take it. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, and that's like actually like color fidelity or whatever the fuck you want to call it is like not terrible either. Like we're seeing like like I can't tell that we're like stepping through colors, which is pretty hype. Ow, my eyes. Yeah, I guess I did do maximum brightness. Get fucked. And it's actually kind of more responsive than I would have expected too. I was expecting this to be worse. That's kind of hype. Now alert between 2 colors. I mean, that's not the. Let's not get sidetracked. Let's not get sidetracked. We don't have to. We don't have to go there, because we have a goal. We have a goal, and we're trying to accomplish it. So let's go. Let's run towards the goal. So, gigantifying emote. You paid money to make a lightsaber. Oh, flashbang. That's funny. Okay, that's crazy. Okay. What am I doing now? I am trying to now extract. Now, instead of like doing just our shit, I would love to render what we are seeing from the OpenGL land, which means that we have to go back to our old version of the program and create him with like a surfaceless OpenGL context, where because usually when you like create an OpenGL context, it like renders to some like default frame buffer, right? Which is like, if we go back to this version of the program and just comment out this version of the program, hold on, we can show it with our eyeballs, right? So like this, when we're rendering this cube here, this is rendering to like the window, right? The default surface. But we don't actually want to render this to like a surface anymore because the output's going to be like text on the terminal, right? So what we want is we want to like put this shit somewhere and like pull it back later, which means that like we don't want a window, right? So there's this way where in like EGL, which is like Mesa's library, like okay, Mesa being like the Linux open source implementation of OpenGL. He has this like initialization library called EGL, which is what like you're supposed to use when you use Wayland, but it's kind of like let me just directly get access to some like GPU video handles. He has the ability to do something called like surfaceless rendering. If we open up this link, which basically says just like don't fucking make the default window, right? So this says like this extension allows for an application to make a context current by passing no surface for read and write. The motivation is that applications that only want to render to client API targets should not need to create a throwaway EGL service just to get a current context. So we should be able to like initialize EGL in a surfaceless way, and that should give us something of use. So this is like a sample make an EGL context. So I guess we will start by copy pasting this and adapting it to work in Zig and for our use case. Okay. So first, I guess let's go back to our end curses window. We'll kind of reintegrate at the end. So we know that we are going to want to init this guy, and he's going to return something, which right now is empty. So we'll just do this, and then we'll just paste all of this shit in here. So, so they include egl.h. So we'll kind of put this here. We'll put it in GL, fuck it. Then they have some attributes that they care about. I don't know if we care about these. Surely we have some attributes that we care about, but I don't know what, like surely one size here is wrong. What is this? Attribute list. This gets passed to choose config. We'll look at this later. This stuff, comment it out. We'll come back to it. Okay, so now here's the interesting part. They have their main function, and they are creating a display config context surface. So we know that we don't want a surface, so fuck that. We know we don't have a native window, so fuck that. Okay, fuck all these comments. Who needs comments when we can read code? Fuck this stuff, and I don't know if we're going to need to EGL swap buffer, so I'll comment that out. Okay, so he calls get display with the default display. Simple. We're just not going to forward declare variables like this. That's also annoying. Comments are lies waiting to happen. That's what I always say. So we'll make something. Then we initialize this thing with null here. Okay. What does that do? EGL initialize. What is that? Major and minor version? Sure. So we just don't give a fuck. I'm down to not give a fuck. Then we choose a config according to this attribute list. Okay, this is where I was getting a little bit interested. So like, what's going on here? He has the attribute list, and in here he had red size and green size. So what are those and why? Red size must be followed by a non-negative integer that indicates the desired size of the red component of the color buffer in bits. One's crazy. One is insane. Surely we want at least 8 bits of color, right? Surely. And this is like EGL, what was it? I already forgot. Was it EGL int? Yeah. Okay, we'll do this. I'm down to say that we we need something, but now what's he pissed about? Probably that this needs a dot and an ampersand. Okay, and so now we can pass in config pointer, and what are the attributes here, or the inputs? So this is like how many configs we have. That makes sense. And then they have, this needs to be a mutable pointer. No. Oh, I see. This outputs to a bunch of configurations. So we need here configs, but we're going to only have one config. So we limit this to say that there's only one option, and then this will tell us how many got out, but we're assuming that we're going to get one out because that's the only option. But they didn't do that, so I guess that it might return 0. So maybe we should do this. And it doesn't say, as far as I can tell, that it can be null. Yeah, it doesn't say it can be null, so I guess we shouldn't assume. So what does this thing take? It takes like EGL config, which was uppercase C, and then num config was an EGL int. Okay. Then we create our context. So what's going on here? EGL create context. Don't you need to set the major and minor because they're required to specify the extensions variable, or am I wrong with that? I mean, it said you can put null, so I'm sure that like we're probably relying on something that we shouldn't. Like we might be relying on some defaults, but I also know that like the defaults on my system will be fine, so I don't really care that much. uh, share context. So no context here seems reasonable. We're not sharing data with anybody. Config is the config we got. Display is the display we have. So yeah, it seems reasonable. And then what's the last thing here? Attrib list for the context. So here we should probably put the OpenGL hints that we want, right? We did do OpenGL hints on GLFW somewhere. In GLFW, we did say that we want 4.6 core. So it seems like doing something similar for the context list here seems reasonable as well. So what can we call this, like context attributes? I think I'm okay with that. We'll see where it goes. So this is a EGL int. Is the goal render the terminal? I one time coded a ray tracer with animation ASCII open Go was fast enough because the resolution was so low. Yeah, it is along those lines, for sure. But the end goal here is to write a Wayland compositor that runs in the terminal. That's the end goal. We're just kind of taking like a side quest along the way as like an intermediate, like a jumping point. Okay. So surely this guy can be like this. Surely we end this with GL EGL none, like we did the other one. And then we want core profile. So core. So here we want this, I guess. And then we can pass in the attributes here. Okay. I guess here we probably should have written pointer as well. Probably. Sure. Then in their example, they're like, you can create a native window. We're saying, fuck that shit. Because we're doing surfaceless rendering, which I think said that you just... Let's read the extension again. No surface to EGL make current. So here it's just like no surface here and here. Okay. Sure. So let's... I guess we should check for errors in all of these things, which I'm sure that this guy's gonna get mad at us about anyway. No? How do I know if there's errors? Surely these things can fail, right? I guess we get like null outputs. So I would have guessed that like on create context, context could maybe be null. EGL context. This would no. What about like the return values here? Does he say anything? Error? No. Okay. What about like initialize? This can EGL initialize fails. So EGL initialize has return values. Oh, maybe he's just not. He's not. We're not calling this function, so it's not getting compiled. He's not getting angry. Sure. Const GL window. We'll call it for now. OpenGL is so 2024. Nowadays, everyone uses Vulkan. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, my understanding is that Vulkan gives you a lot more like control at the cost of like difficult code. And my understanding is also that I haven't had any problems using OpenGL yet. Maybe one day I'll be like, I need those advanced features, but I haven't hit it yet. So I'm like kind of down to just stay with the like simpler API. But I might be like, I could be wrong here. GL init, I guess we'll call it. Okay, make check now. Oh, make, fine. This guy needs to be tried now. Make. this guy, EGL choose config, can also return something. With Vulkan, you're writing hundreds of lines just to draw something on the screen. Well, let's not pretend that that opengl is much better. I mean, it is better, but it is still a lot of lines. This is fine. Return this. Then this guy is mad because what is he actually pissed about? Oh, this needs to be const here. Sure. EGL create context. Whoa, or EGL make current. Which one of these guys? Make current. So I assume that this also is returning the same, like, return. He doesn't say, but I mean, based off the other guys, I think we can assume EGL false. I think. Find out. OpenGL is deprecated for new development. Well, I don't really give a shit what they say, because I think it's going to stick around for a long time. I'm not. Oh, you're talking like Mac OS? Who gives a shit about Mac OS? But yeah, I really just don't. I'm not going to take on that extra complexity right now. I'm not gonna take that on right now. Yeah, this major version is wrong. You're right. That would have told it. We would have noticed that eventually though. Okay, link against EGL. Oh, I was just checking if they did. I'd vote OpenGL forever. Yeah, okay, I see. All right. I guess we should just check. Do I lose my other terminal again? Oh no, I didn't. Okay. Okay, so it didn't like crash, which means that it's likely that this shit's working. So now can we go back to the other version of the app and use our end curses window? Okay, so this guy's gonna complain because there are other features on this, like Windows should close. So I think that we're just gonna write false here for now. Like this. And then he also had swap, which again, we're just gonna do nothing for now because we don't have buffers to swap yet. But this will probably eventually hold like a frame buffer that we're gonna do something with. But for now, all right. So this is getting mad. Shader compilation is not working, even though we've initialized our window, as far as I understand, which means that something is not behaving the way it should. It means that like something did not work. Which is annoying. That's a little annoying. I would have expected this to have worked. So it could be that our error checking is not quite right. Can we check if this is not equal to true instead? He's actually just getting to shader compilation is no big dealio. What the fuck? Maybe we need like more attributes or something? Maybe? Where's their like example? So can we try their example of just calling like these? Like, does this work? If we just like fucking rip this shit? I guess we wouldn't know. Right, there's nothing in there that like kind of wouldn't work. Okay, let's try not passing in these context attributes. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So does this work? If this is not equal to EGL true, like, just we could have got these wrong. It's possible. No, these are. I mean, these guys are all returning EGL true, which really indicates that they worked. Really does. In which case, why 28? So we're not even printing anything interesting. He's just like blindly failing. That's weird. I mean, we've seen this before. If we just don't do OpenGL initialization, we get like the same problem, right? If we just do this, uh, fuck, uh, oh my god, right? If we just like try to call this like shader compilation without OpenGL initialized, that's what happens. So it kind of makes me feel like we've like not done initialization in some way. That's kind of what it feels like. But we did. We did. Make oh, do I have to like is there something between make context current and make current? EGL make context current sounds familiar. I don't know if I'm like no, just make current. And we're supposed to draw surface. Maybe I have to bind like a frame buffer first. I feel like I've done this before. Where have I done this before? Maybe we can compare. I think in our image editor we have like a lint zig that uses EGL surfaceless. And what does he do? Bind API? I just didn't do that. That seems likely to be a problem. Everything else is kind of the same. Why doesn't their example have bind API? Unless I just accidentally deleted it from their example. I mean, we could try it. We could try it. Is not equal to EGL true. Sure. Okay, that's much better. So now the app is running, but he's not actually doing anything because all of this is just going to like the fucking middle of nowhere. So now we need to make it so that I guess we need to like create a frame buffer and bind it and then look at it later. Right? So like our swap function here that says like update the window contents, this is going to do like all the ncurses stuff that we did in main. Which means that like we're gonna like read from some frame buffer and texture. Okay, so I guess what's like the easiest way to test this? We want to bind some. We need to like create a texture, create a frame buffer. We need to create like a color texture. We need a depth texture. These need to be bound to frame buffer. Frame buffer needs to be active. And then there's probably more. And then this kind of shit is like it's so finicky and easy to get wrong. Can we look at like learn OpenGL frame buffer? We'll just like maybe copy from here. So this is simple. Create a frame buffer, bind the frame buffer. Can we look at like they usually have like a full code sample at the end. Give me your full code, please. full code here. Okay, okay. Where is their frame buffer? Shit. Here we go. Dude, you gotta love this. This is wonderful. Okay. Do they have a depth texture bound to this thing? Yeah, they do. They use it as render buffer. Sure. So it's kind of like this. Set up n curses FB. And this thing is going to return probably the frame buffer, maybe the texture. Probably the texture, the color texture that we're going to read from for n curses. Okay. So frame buffer is whatever goes in here. So this guy wants a GLU int. Okay, so we create a frame buffer, we bind it. Not sure what we want, but does headless EGL not give you a default frame buffer? I thought default frame buffer was guaranteed by OpenGL. I have no experience with this though. My understanding, I mean, I could be going about this the wrong way, but I think the whole point of the surfaceless renderer is that you don't get a default frame buffer. And because you intentionally don't get a default frame buffer because we don't have a window to render to. So I might be going about this the wrong way, but this is how I remember having to do it in the past. So we have to make one on our own. Now it's maybe possible that you could create an EGL rendering context without a window, but my understanding is that like to get a surface, you need to create a surface from a window, and that window you can do like window as GBM, which is like Mesa buffers, and then like manually manage them yourself. That's what like a KMS cube does. This like, raw renderer that we've looked at before. I'm not gonna find it right now, but he does something similar where he does like, I'm gonna create a window, but the window is just like Mesa buffers. But this is like a kind of more generic way to do it, I think, where you don't have to depend on any specific windowing like backend for this thing. It'll work anywhere. But again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't really know. This is just my understanding. Okay. So then we want var text color texture. And this gets passed in here when we generate some textures. We bind that shit so that he's active. Then we set some shit here. So here, I guess we're saying text image 2D. So this is mipmap level 0, internal format RGB. Seems fine to me. Width, height. So 800, like 300 by 300, probably. Something around that seems fine to me. Border 0. Okay. And I think in the spec it says border has to be 0, which is kind of funny. Then this is like the upload data type, I think. Which, who gives a fuck? Because we're not uploading any data. So this being like this seems fine. Wait, doesn't one of them have to be, internal format? Does this not specify whether it's like floating point or like integer backed? Who specifies that? Maybe that's here. I don't remember. I mean, we can take a peek at when they do the render buffer. Oh, it's a little different. Okay. We'll just copy what they did because I don't trust myself kind of at all here. I think that this is some mipmap parameters that I always have to set, and I like never get them right. I think OpenGL docs assume a default frame buffer in several places. That makes sense. I mean, it's like, why wouldn't you? But I think that we'll just set one up. I think that like probably what EGL is doing is that like, given that like nothing's breaking right now, I think that it makes like a default buffer that's just like useless. You know what I mean? Like probably Mesa under the hood is like allowing OpenGL stuff to write to that buffer, and then it's just like throwing out the results or something, and like not actually doing the rendering under the hood. Because EGL is kind of like OpenGL EGL, right? So if EGL is saying we can do this thing, then they're gonna implement it however the fuck they feel like, and like And they are allowed to do whatever they want because they're like the layer below. What is this? There's attaching to the frame buffer, color 0. We're saying we have a 2D texture at bitmap level 0. Got it. Then in this example, they're using a render buffer here for the depth, and I believe that render buffers are like these like they're the same as textures a lot of the time, but they're like a hint to the OpenGL instance that they're not going to be read back, right? So the GPU could potentially use like optimized storage for something like that. I don't know if it's actually used, but I'm down to just copy this example for now. For now. Because I don't really care. And 300 by 300 here again. In Mesa's OpenGL implementation, the default buffer typically refers to a color buffer that is automatically created while rendering context is initialized, usually using the back buffer for double buffered, blah, blah, blah. Sorry for the long paragraph, I won't do that again. Didn't look so long in the summary copy. Oh, no worries. What the fuck did I just do? I think I just accidentally pasted again. Okay. Then we say, let me set this thing as a depth buffer for this guy, I guess. And then we check. Oh, we're like attaching this render buffer to the depth stencil attachment. I see. So we're saying we have this like extra piece of storage. It's not like your typical texture. So here we attached a texture to the frame buffer. Here we're attaching a render buffer. Got it. Which is like your kind of like shitty texture that might just be a normal texture. You don't know. Uh-oh, our frame buffer incomplete. And then we're going to not unbind it. This thing stays bound forever and ever. He has no choice. And then I think we return the color texture. Okay. So here, I guess we will say that like color texture is set up this guy. And I guess we write that guy down. Texture is equal to color texture or something, which means that here we want to store that texture like this. All right. So let's just see if anything goes like terribly wrong. Looks like it's not like yelling at us, which is a good sign. The fact that this frame buffer status is returned complete is like a good sign for us. It's a good sign. So now we just want to make it so that on swap we read the stuff back. So let's start by just trying to read this thing back at all. So I think it's this, read pixels. Oh, so what's happening here? We take the X and Y, the first pixel, lower left corner. Width and height, so we are doing 300 by 300. Those should be constant somewhere, but you can't make me. The format of the pixel data, so we want GLRGB, presumably, because that's what we set the internal format of the guy as. Specifies the type of the pixel data. So wait, this is the format of the pixel data, this is the type. Oh, so we were like, do we want to pull it as floats? Do we want to pull it as ints? Whatever. Can we do GL unsigned byte? Oopsies, wrong button. That seems reasonable to me. We'll see if it is, but it feels reasonable to me. So width, height, format, type, and then data. So now we have our output. So our output, if it's RGB, is it padded with a nulled out alpha? Or is it like packed as 3 bytes, then 3 bytes, then 3 bytes? You know? Return 3 values. Okay. Cool. So that means that here we need to allocate some data. So in here, I guess we will just specify that we have 300 by 300 by 3 U8s. And then we can just use that here. Or I guess we can just do this on the stack here. Fuck it. Yeah. And then we can pass that down like this. And then we can take a little peeksies at it. Just to see. All right. He's mad because this is now not a slice, so we don't have this pointer field. Okay, so this is a good sign. We're at least seeing like data, right? We're seeing a lot of the same numbers, which is maybe not ideal. But these might be based off the clear color, right? So if we crank these up to 1.0, 1.0, 1.0, we should start seeing a bunch of like 255s in here, which we do. So this is a really good sign. This means that we have successfully like rendered off the screen and like retrieved the content back. Wouldn't it make it more sense to do RGB so you get 32 bits out of it? Whatever. I don't know. Maybe that's more efficient. I could see a world where it is, but who knows? Okay. 01, 11, 45. Okay, so let's do some terminal rendering of this guy. So what do we do here? We have the pixel data now. I mean, what we should be doing, by the way, is like this GL read pixels is kind of like slow as shit. So what we should be doing is we should be like immediately render next frame here. Right? And like or it's something along those lines where like we want to be like double buffering and reading back once the render is done, right? Because like these OpenGL APIs are all like asynchronous, right? So like even though you say like draw a pixel, like draw raise, and like it just like immediately returns, it doesn't actually like finish until way later. It's like kind of like pushing into a queue, and then usually like those things are like consumed on swap buffers. But here we're kind of like now let me like read those pixels back here, and I think that it's probably faster in some way if you can like make it so that while you're reading the data back from the CPU, it is also rendering the next frame, right? Because all of this is just doing like PCI data transfer from GPU to CPU, and like you have all of this like GPU hardware that's like ready to do other stuff, and it's just not doing it right now. But fuck that. But like that's what you should do. Render next frame while reading, but we don't care. Okay. So we now can start looking at like, we can start pulling out some of the stuff from our old main. So I guess anything that was in before the while loop should probably go into initialization of our window. So it's kind of like this guy needs to go in a D-init of our... We kind of need like this here, and then we need to call dinit on the window ourselves. That's important because it fucks up the whole screen. Then otherwise, it seems like we're kind of good to go there. Now we do our like inner part. So we had something where we like initialized colors and then we iterated over lines and then we like called refresh at the end. So I feel like that's something along the lines of what we want to do here. Here our RGB values are going to come from the data, right? So we're going to go like 4, 0 to 300, Y, 4, 0 to 300, X. We're going to replace... I think that maybe we could... we might not have to do all of this inline, but fuck it. And we're going to go like character by character. We're just going to check the RGB value of that fucking pixel. So it's like uh like data index is going to be y times 300 times 3 plus x times 3. Yeah. Y times 300 plus x times 3. There. That seems kind of reasonable. Then we have like r is equal to data at data index. We have g is the next one. And b is the one after that. And then we can pass those into these. These are coming in as U8s. So can we cast these into like U32s for now? And then we can do like times 1000 divided by 255 on each of them. And there's probably like an int cast on here as well. Yep. And this should just be RGB. Okay. Sure, blaze it. Then we have to do our move add character here. But we don't know the color yet. So we're just gonna do a move add character every fucking time, I guess. Fuck it. And then do a refresh at the end. Okay, so this guy needs a self parameter. End win, right. We need to discard the failure here. 386 is pissed off because swap can't fail, so we'll just make swap be able to fail. And then this guy's probably pissed off that there's no colors. True. Can we go back to this window? Now he's mad at probably the window's not big enough. Right? So here we probably need to reduce the size of this thing or make this window bigger. How big does it need to be? Okay, then maybe that's not it. Right, so this is at 395 here. He's pissed at this. Man, move, add, ch. So it is yx and then the character, but he's not happy. So can we like reduce the like, can we just change the, can we do like const width, window width? Let's do something that we know fits. 16. Maybe that's too small. We'll do 32. So window width, window height, window width, window height, window height, window width here. And we need this as well. Window width. Those are all the 300s. Okay. Okay. Now I'm a little concerned that nothing else is happening. Like we're not seeing the cube at all, which is a little bit disappointing. I feel like he should be in here. So it's probably that our viewport here. Where is our like viewport initialized? We didn't initialize it anywhere. Anywhere in the whole program. which is crazy. Surely we need to set the viewport somewhere, right? Surely. Right? Right. Did we? I fucking closed the window again. Which means we have to get back into the shell so that it builds. All right. I mean, that's definitely better by some metric of better. Like the colors are changing now. I mean, it's not. We're definitely seeing like some patch pretty clearly. Like every once in a while, we're seeing like the cube is like rotating in there, and we're seeing like a corner of it or something. Sick graphics, bro. Thank you, Mug. No, I closed the window again like a dumbass. Oh, every time. Um, Surely these are these. Yeah. Okay. So I wonder if there's like some minimum size somewhere. Okay. Can we? I just want to re-enable the non-end curses window just so we can look at it again and think. Which I think is going to be a little bit mad now because there's a few things that this guy needs to implement now so that he's easily swappable. He needs DNet. I think his swap needs to be error. And then this should work now. Yeah, okay. So this is what we're supposed to be seeing. And it's clearly not. So can we make these bigger first of all and see if that changes anything? GLFW window. So we should be able to be like end curses window here. And then we know that this won't work. So we're going to go to the other terminal. And I'm not going to close it this time. I swear I'm not going to fucking close it so we don't have to like wait for this Nick shell again. Maybe set the GLFW window to the same dimension so you can easily compare. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Is that really like 64 is just like I need more space? Yeah. Okay. So I guess maybe width can be bigger than height. But yeah, let's. I agree. I agree with the idea of comparing. Did I fucking close the window? I didn't. Oh, I'm such a god. I didn't close the window. Let's go. Okay. So in the GLW window, we can set this to 64 by 64. And I think that's the only place where it matters in this one. And curses main. Okay. Okay. Whoa. I mean, that is like clearly doing the right thing still, but it is kind of interesting that there might be like a minimum texture size. Because it does look like it's like struggling. You can make a 1x1 texture. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Minimum frame buffer size. Like, is there... Um... There was something here like default size? Default width? Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if there's some sort of minimum size. GLW minimum window size would be more plausible, I think. Yeah, I could see that. But I mean, the fact that it's wrong means that like we're doing something stupid. I just don't know what it is. Hmm. Hum. We could let's clear the background to black. And then can we look in our swap data for if we see non-black? I mean, that doesn't fix it, right? Because we're seeing stuff that's non-black right now, even. Is it somehow there are like read pixels? Uh, move, add character. Yeah, I don't see anything like blatantly stupid going on. Down to just look at it again and see what happens. Like, why is it so flickery? Data index with the times 3 definitely right. I'm completely blind here, just looking for potential offbeats. Yeah, that seems like a reasonable thing. Can try to compare PNGs of the frames. Yeah, that's not crazy, huh? Not crazy. So we could do something that's like way bigger and then look at the output. What's that like ppm image format? ppm images Wikipedia. It's like if you just want to like dump some binary data in there, it's like something like P6. You just like huck a P6, a width and a height, a 255, and then you just like rip that shit. I think it's like something like this. Frame ppm. Something like this. So I think it's like output F, right, all. You do, I guess we'll do print. It's easier. P6, then width, height, then number of pixels per number of like maximum pixel brightness. Then we punch in window width and window height. And then I think you just write out like output F right RGB. Then this needs to be a writer, I guess. Something like this. We need to write try here and here. Cool. Fine. Data from data index to data index plus 3. Okay, and then I forgot. We have to write this in the other terminal. Okay, and then can we look at like, oh, what was it? Image? Did I, hello? Frame.ppm. Where is it? Oh, it's right here. I'm a dumbass. It feels like, based off what I'm seeing here, that we're not reading the whole frame. It feels like that. So is data index right here. We should be going width by height. Width by height, and we should be writing 3 pixels per thing. But I mean, this is pretty clearly not showing the whole frame. Which really makes me suspect. Y times, so each row of this data should have window width chunks of 3. So that's this times the Y. I don't see how this could be wrong. I really don't. We could do this and check what the data index is at the end. You know, saw this many bytes. Yeah, and should have this many. So this should be data len and data idx plus 3. He's not going to like that. Oh, I could have just interrupted. I could have siginted while it was writing out. Oh, I also can't fucking print while this is happening, huh? That's annoying. What do I do with that information? I guess this has to go to a file. Yeah, I guess we just also have to make sure that when I sigint, I think it's very likely that when I quit this thing, I am interrupting this. So can we do like frame temp ppm here, and then at the end of this thing, can we do like rename from frame temp ppm to frame ppm? And will this overwrite? I hope. We'll find out. He won't run here. Okay. So now we should no frame temp ppm. Okay. Refresh. Oh, wait. That's hype. That's hype. So it does look like there was some sort of like atomicity issue in there. Tell me that's not a rotating cube, baby. Okay. So now the question is why is it wrong in the ncurses view? Because that means that like the data that we're getting is sure the right stuff. Now it could be, oh, I bet it's that ncurses is stashing the colors on a refresh, like per refresh. Right? So what we're probably seeing here is that it's just probably picking the last fucking pixel. And we're only seeing that. That's why we're seeing like it flicker the whole fucking screen at once. That makes a lot of sense. So I guess the question is do we have enough colors? It's almost like we might need to make like a color palette and like rip it. Or, I mean, we could do, if we refresh every fucking frame, every pixel here, that'll force it to write it out. Which I think will be terrible for performance. Huh. Not so lucky. It could be that we might want to attr off as well here, so that it doesn't think that it can like remember that shit between frames. Still no dice, but I really do feel like it's something along these lines. We could try alternating. Let's just try alternating colors for now and see if that does anything. So if we go like, um, I think that they said they have some amount of colors that you can use. I think if we go to curses, we look for colors. Man, colors. After initializing curses, this variable contains the number of colors which the terminal can support. Number of color pairs which the terminal can support. So I guess we want. Huh. Doesn't really seem clear. Man, what was the thing we used to change the color? Init color. Takes 4 arguments. First argument must be a legal color value. Default color is not allowed here. See colors for the default color index. It's just so unhelpful. Like, do you think we can just go like forever? I guess we can just find out. Short. Can we just go like color IDX, and then we do like color index percent plus equals 1 down here equals color index percent plus 1 for a wrapping add. This way maybe, I guess. And then we need to use color index here every time. Does that change anything? It might. Oops. I fucking can't use this terminal. Return. So here init color, we're clearly using too many. So can we print we can't, huh? Because the screen is on. We can't print here. We can breakpoint here. Does init color change the palette globally? Not select a color from the current palette for the cell? That's what I'm assuming right now, yeah. But I don't really know. We could do like +1. Can we just like percent like 100 or something? Just to see. I'm just trying to get like a feel for like what this thing is gonna do. Remainder division with mod here, I guess. I'm just trying to get like any feel for what the fuck is happening. So that's pretty clearly different. What the fuck is going on here too? Why is like, what is happening? Because we should only be printing like 64 by 32. So where is the rest of the screen getting its color from? Right? Am I crazy? Like it feels like it's just kind of displaying way too much on the screen. Right? It almost feels like this is the stuff that should matter. Oh, maybe it's because I'm changing the background color as well. Of course. Of course, one of these color indexes is going to be the background color. So we need to make sure that this guy like starts at like 8. Right? So this is like we need to like, if this wraps, bring it up to 8 or something. I guess we just mod I guess we just do color index starts at 0, and then we add 8 to it when we use it. Or something. I bet you that's what's happening. Wrong window. Yeah, okay. So that's definitely a clue. Definitely a clue. Okay, so then can we go back to trying to force a refresh every time? Maybe like using end curses at all here is like fucking stupid because like the caching is causing us problems. But even then, I don't understand. We're missing something still. I'd rather remove end curses. You need like 2 escapes. Yeah, it does feel like it's just getting in my way. Um, can I just use like the reason that I wanted to use end curses originally was because it feels like it sets up like raw mode. It like knows all of the like escape commands, but maybe I just want to get out of the way of like using these attributes. Can I just like end curses like change color per character? Oh, you know what? It might be that like end curses is like writing out the correct thing to the screen. It might be like using control codes to like say, "Hey terminal, use color 1." Right? But then we are changing what color means over and over again. So I guess like we need a way to like just output raw color codes to the terminal. Which I don't know if that's like something that's allowed. Term info? What is like the how do I like term info? What's the way to like dump and like terminal control codes? There's some command that like prints them all. Print end curses escape codes. God damn it. This is not God. Fuck the internet, man. Infocomp. That's what I'm looking for. So does anything in here look like it's like RGB? I guess we might just have to set up a palette. Can we like terminal escape code raw like RGB? Is it like is that something we can do? It is. And curses true color. Um direct color. That sounds like what I want. Um direct. Direct color. Oh, here. So yeah, it does seem like I should just use printf, huh? It does seem like it. It does seem like we're kind of like getting in our own way. So let's get all of this end curses stuff just like get the fuck out of here. And what's we can like just look for clear, which is this. So we can just do like it's 1B for escape, right? If I remember correctly. Okay. Fuck end curses everywhere. And here. Okay. Okay, that builds. So if we successfully clear here, okay, that's good. Then what does this guy say? It's this. So let's go 0x1b, then all of this shit. And can we just do like RGB here? It might be slow as shit, but it also might work. No dice, maybe? Oh, because this is foreground. We want background. So we want 48, not 38. Okay. Now we need to like actually do new lines, but that's getting fucking close. Definitely getting close. Okay. Cool. That's pretty hype. That's pretty hype. I don't really understand still why the whole screen is turning this color. Oh, because we're not clearing it when we reset, when we hit a new line. Yeah, okay. I think there's definitely some like optimizations to do here. But looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. I think we call it there. I think there's definitely like more work to be done here. It's very clear that like we can't keep up, right? Or at the very least, like, yeah, it feels like we can't keep up. It feels like you're seeing like multiple frames here. You can see some tearing, like, maybe not. I feel like I'm seeing tearing here. Like I'm seeing like four colors that I shouldn't. I'm seeing like blue in the middle of this shit. Um, so I'll probably like looking into like raw mode, looking into like color comparisons and stuff. How is aspect ratio correct? Terminal cells are twice as wide as they are twice as tall as they are wide. It's because I intentionally um I I set the texture height to be like I set the texture width to be twice as wide. Do you need to clear? Just go to 0, 0 and redraw over surely. Yeah, that's a good point. Print to a buffer, then print that buffer once per frame. Yeah, we could try that. I'm kind of down to try that. That seems like it would be a lot faster. So can we do like var outbuff? Uh, I guess this guy gets like an allocator now. Probably a scratch allocator. So we probably do something like this. I think we probably have one of these kicking around. Then in here, we just like, how many characters is this? This is like 20 characters. So we're doing like 20 plus up to this is 20, but each of these two curly braces could turn into 3. So 23. ish, 24. So 24 times width times height. Something like this. And then we need we need some extra room for the new lines. So can we just like make it a little bigger? Fuck it. Okay. Defer self scratch reset. Nope. And index is equal to checkpoint. There we go. Then here we just write to the out buffer. So we're gonna say like stood IO buffer writer, or like how do we get like a writer into an array? Fixed buffer stream. There we go. Var s var const writer is s writer. Then we use the writer here and here. And then we stood debug print this shit from like out buff from 0 to like s dot count or something. Surely like this guy knows where he is. Pause. Forgot this guy. Sure. And then I guess we should also take out this like ppm writer, which might also be hurting us a lot. All right. Oh. We do need to remember the scratch allocator. And then I guess we actually don't have one because actually we haven't done any allocations. That's kind of fun. I don't know. 10 megabytes. I don't give a fuck. Surely that's enough. Sure. Sure. I don't give a fuck. Something like that seems like it should work. Now he's mad because I forgot to write try somewhere. I always forget to write try every goddamn time. Yeah, I mean, that's a different type of flickering. It's probably now that like we're seeing, since it's writing the whole buffer at once, we're probably seeing like after a clear or something go wrong. We're probably seeing like in between clear, but we don't have to clear like you said, right? Which I'm searching for clear, like that's the word I used. We just did some like dumb shit where we typed this. So can we go back to like the first line? There's like some sort of like movement commands, right? Here. Escape with an H after. So it's literally just this. Okay. Let's see it. That's not bad, dude. That's not bad. That's so sick. Let's go. Okay, so there's like obviously like you would push this further, right? We could like use ASCII characters to kind of get like within character boundaries and stuff, but I mean this is pretty hype. This is pretty hype. If we reset now, does it like, and I run it from down here? That's pretty sick. Okay, so for the screenshot that'll look really good, it's this, right? Something like that. Uh, that's pretty sick. Yeah. So again, we could push this way farther. But This is a good initial attempt. I think it's really funny that we started with end curses because we're like end curses is what everyone uses for the graphics, and it's just like, oh fuck that shit. It's actually just like getting in our way. We'll just like do raw terminal codes. That's kind of funny. Um, it's like in my mind, I was like, this is a good excuse to like learn end curses because everyone like it's the one, it's the thing that the people use. Um, but I probably won't ever use it again. I should probably be using it to like look up the like correct escape codes or whatever, but beyond that, I think I just like don't do it. Um, and probably if I was doing something more like since I'm like actually just re-rendering the entire thing every frame, I'm like making my life harder, right? Like if I was using it for like React style, like, oh, I'm gonna like do all this stuff and you check for me if I need to update that stuff or not, like it kind of makes sense, which I think is what Clonky is saying in there. But yeah, it was pretty hype. I'm happy with this. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, we stream most days 12:30 to 4 o'clock Pacific time. It is just before 4 o'clock Pacific time now, so 3.5 hours ago to now is when you should expect to see us live. If you like what you saw, please consider supporting on Twitch, YouTube, or Patreon. This content will end someday, but the more I can, like, the more money I can like scrape together, the farther away that day becomes. So please consider only if if it makes sense for you, etc. But otherwise, I think we call it there. YouTube, peace out, and Twitch, let's find someone to raid.